Hey, Edgar.
How you doing, Joe? How's everything?
Good, man. You are suited up, bruh.
Good. You know what, man? I changed twice. Um, you know what, man? Shout out to you. You know what I mean? Shout out to you for putting this together. This is an incredibly awesome project. It's definitely necessary, and the fact that it's coming along so well, man. Kudos to you, man. Congratulations, man.
Oh, thank y'all. I mean, we couldn't do it without the support of the people for sure. They had the vision, and I said, "All right, cool. I'll implement it and see what happens." So I'm just happy to have people coming in and out. I know it's a whole half day of people's lives, but I think it was worth it. I definitely
It,
think. I mean, people spend weekends at a con, so I love the fact that we're able to do this even virtually and kind of even get better. I think better information and better interaction than we did if you were in person.
yeah,
So.
I agree. I agree. I mean, if you're going to a con, you're probably doing it all weekend, anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the fact that this is just a couple of hours, you know what I mean? And you're at the luxury of being most likely at your own place, and you can take your breaks when you need to, and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? It's all good. You know what I mean? And just as important, the fact that you bring the guests on and they have a platform to speak and that sort of thing. It's really really cool. The Jeppies were awesome. Jimbo and Rob were. Oof, it's hard to follow them, huh? You put me in the spot.
No,
You want to talk about talent, and then I have to go after them. So,
well, guess
but
what? You're the only one talking about this one particular area that everybody is always questioning. I mean, think about it. We're always people submitting stuff to CGC and not knowing what they're going to get back. So, I was geeked to, when I talked to you yesterday, thinking about that whole process, even myself, I've thought to myself, oh, maybe I should press. But when I talked to you yesterday, you gave me some things to consider. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to Edgar and say, Edgar, can you hook me up? Because, you said you got some secrets and I told everybody you're not going to tell any secrets, but
okay,
I definitely wanted to make sure that, that you gave drop some knowledge, because I think it's important, one, to find a good presser, someone who's going to do it right and someone who's going to do it with care and love. And I also want to give, big time props to Soul. Soul actually put me in contact with you, and he
soul is
said that
hot.
he said you were just a real humble dude and did your work amazingly. So
You know what? Shout out to Soul. Soul Siren is hot. Follow him on Instagram. Soul
yep,
Siren Comics.
good dude.
Great guy, great man, really a great guy. And he's out in the West Coast. I'm out in the East Coast. I'm in South Florida,
Yep.
and he chooses me to press his books. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And I mean, he has the option of sending them much closer to California or Arizona, Nevada type of thing, because there's talent out there as well.
yeah.
But the fact that he chose me, is it's a beautiful thing. It's very humbling. It's always an honor. It's always really really special when someone has complete trust in sending you books that are literally their babies, books that are literally their financial investments. You know, I mean, whether I'm pressing a $2 book that you completely fell in love with when you were 11 years old, or whether I'm pressing a $700 book that's an investment that you see 3Gs in the future. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I treat them all the same. You know what I mean? Because I am also that fanboy. You
yeah.
know what I mean? The most important thing to me is never forgetting who I am, why I do this, and how everything started. You know what I mean? I was disappointed in a lot of stuff as well, and that's why I decided to take things into my own hands.
That's awesome, man. That's
You know.
awesome. Okay, first of all, let me say another thing. Your gear is killing me because that gear is tight, and I wish
Thank
I
you,
had it.
brother.
Because
Thank
I
you,
told you,
brother.
in my past life, I think I was Batman. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but
Definitely,
with
definitely.
powers. I would love if Batman had powers. We might
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
make that happen. So, like
yeah.
Rob, we need to make. I mean, I know you've done a couple of things with Venom, and powers
Batman
with
with powers would be that would be nuts. Okay,
nuts.
the fact that he's 100% human being, the fact that he's not a meta human, in
Yep.
DC or the Marvel version where he's not a mutant. or he's not he didn't get an accident, an accident didn't happen, nothing spilled on him, chemicals or anything like that. He wasn't bit by he wasn't bitten by anything like that. Batman is special, man.
Yeah.
Batman is very special. I know not everybody really loves him, you know what I mean? But when you think about it, man, he is literally the only human being that's normally involved,
Yeah.
and he's our champion, he's our representative, you know what I mean, with that, in that train of thought. So Batman's the man, man. Batman is
Yeah.
the man. And by the way, I'm really, really big on Nightwing too. I'm
Yeah.
really big. I'm really big on Nightwing
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, man. Batman doing anything has my attention.
Well,
Yeah.
let's pivot, because I could talk to you all day about comic books for sure. We're going to continue to talk about comic
Yes.
books. So tell
Yes.
me specifically about how you got into pressing. I know the story, but I want everybody else to know how you got into pressing, how you were influenced by that, and even your craft right now, where you see it.
Okay, definitely. So, as I said, as I mentioned, I touched on a little bit earlier. You know what I mean? Everything had basically started with the disappointment of getting my slabs returned to me with disappointing grades. That's what started everything. Fortunately for me, as I've shared before, my background has a little to do with the fact where my grandmother was a volunteer Christian librarian. Okay. So I had to, as a child, when I was young, I had to spend a lot of time with her, and that's what we would do. We would go to, her work, we'd go to her little job and all that stuff, and while she would babysit me. And what she had a talent for was fixing spines on hard-covered books, and cleaning the inside pages,
Mm.
and so from there, I just watched her, and from there I became kind of like her assistant, and it got to the point where just her fingers and her hands weren't as good as they used to be. So I would basically eventually, I would probably be doing 60% of the project, if you will, But to make a long story short, my background is not based on comic books. My
Mhm.
background is based on books, novels, Christian, literature, pamphlets, that sort of thing. I remember when she used to go door to door and with her catalogs, with her pamphlets and things like that. And whatever she wouldn't get rid of for that day, she would bring them home, and she would literally bring out the plancha. And she would bring the iron, and she would literally press them and make them brand new again, if you will, so that the next day she can go out and present them to people in a professional, right way, and so and like I said, it was funny because I never did I ever put the two together. I was always a comic book guy, but never did I ever put that together. I never thought, oh, what I did with her, is gonna eventually, play a part in this, and so after sending a couple of submissions and getting a couple of disappointing grades, and the reason why the grades were disappointing was simply for the fact that I paid for their pressing.
Mhm.
So after I paid for their pressing and I got the slabs back, I would read the grader notes, and the grader notes, the points were taken away based on everything the pressing was supposed to take care of.
Mhm.
So I felt like they were just taking that extra money and not doing the work, and so I said enough of that. Either I don't slab anymore, or I take matters into my own hand, and sure enough, a couple of years later, man, here we are. I'm doing my thing. I am getting books. I am getting submissions sent to me from all over the United States. Like
Mm.
I said, I'm getting books. I'm getting books from the West Coast. I'm getting books from Connecticut. I'm getting books from Massachusetts. I'm getting books from Vermont. I get books from Georgia. Once again, I live in South Florida. I live in Miami, Florida. Um, so and to keep it real, the only way I promote myself is really through Instagram.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do it on Instagram, and in a matter of almost no time, I had 400 followers and 400 plus followers, and growing every day. And people are hitting me up every day, asking me questions, being interested, and they're keeping me busy, thankfully. They're keeping me busy. Right now I would right now I would estimate that I am pressing, I don't know, 45 to 48 books a month.
Wow.
you
That's a
know
lot.
it's a lot. It's a lot in the sense where a lot of these books need to be pressed overnight, so that takes away a lot of hours for it takes away from a specific time where each book gets dedicated to. Some books just need, some books literally just need a clean and a press.
Hmm.
In about, with the clean, and after getting off the press machine, a book can be complete in about 15 minutes. It
Mm.
really, really can. If you know what you're doing, you can get it right in about 15 minutes. You know, and then there are other books that need a little more tender loving care.
Hmm.
And those are the ones that stay overnight. Sometimes they need to stay in the humidifier for a couple of hours. Sometimes they need to go through the overnight press, which is about 6 to 12 hours, depending on what kind of spine ticks and the creases and sort of thing that they have. But before I get ahead of myself, you know what I mean. You know, it's keeping me busy. It's all through Instagram, really.
Wow.
I do have Facebook and Twitter accounts as well, but I find Instagram to be the better option,
Okay.
if you will. And yeah,
That's awesome, man.
yeah. Thank you,
So
thank you
what
very,
do
very
you
much.
have? I had a few questions. I wanted
Please,
to ask the folks if they had any questions before I ask my
absolutely.
questions. So are there any questions from a man, Edgar, and about pressing? Some of you all have been intrigued about the pressing, especially resellers and sellers alike, whether it's on Whatnot and Whatnot. I just did Whatnot twice. Wow, that's amazing. It must
That
be
is,
uh,
that
yeah,
is, that's it's
that is fun.
exhausting. It is, it is.
So, quick question. I'm
Go
just
for
gonna
it.
ask until so. How did you know what was the right press? Because you see a lot of folks. You see some of these things on Amazon. The cheap ones, and then some people buy these like
Yes,
old
yes.
pressers, right? And these old
Right,
press machines.
right, right.
So, talk to me about that.
It boils down to your budget.
Hmm.
It really, really boils down to your budget. It boils down to how serious you want to take this craft. To be honest with you, my first machine was a professional press. It was about 800 pounds. It took up maybe a quarter of my living room. And eventually it ended up, exhausting out. It went, the machine had to be about 60 years old. It was one
Wow.
of those old school presses. And eventually after time, it wore out. The parts don't exist anymore. So I just had to move forward. So what I own now literally are two t-shirt press machines, you
Oh
know,
wow.
but the t-shirt press machines are not enough. You need to
Hmm.
buy it. You need to accessorize it.
Hmm.
You definitely need to accessorize it. I'll be more than glad to share that. That's not a big deal. You know what I mean? You can find that on YouTube. You can find that on Google anyway. So you know what I mean. There's definitely things I'm down to share. Obviously there are secrets within the trade that, you know what I mean. It's best that
Yeah.
if I share it, then I mean
Yep.
anyone, that sort of thing where anybody can do it with, which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at all. But I respect myself enough to know that the work that I put in, the time that I put in, has a lot of value.
Yep.
So I leave it at that.
Cool. We do have a question.
Yeah,
What's
let's
the
do it.
most expensive book that you've pressed and cleaned?
Wow.
That's from Tempos.
From Tempo, what's up, Tempo? Thank you for your question. Um, I'm gonna say the most expensive books that I've ever cleaned. Wow, man, giant size X-Men #1.
Wow.
Probably
You
about
know,
six. Probably about six of them.
wow. You know, that is my number one. I wish on my wish list. That is
Oh
my
yeah,
number one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Looks like the lighting went down. Yes. Wow, man. I've done Hercules #1 with Charlton Comics.
Whoa.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. And the gentleman was nice enough to gift me a #7 issue, which he had multiple copies of. So as a gift, he also gave me a #7 Charlton Comics Hercules as well.
Mm,
So that was
mm.
that was really really cool. Wow.
Hey, while we're still on that topic, is there
Go for
a
it.
finessing that you have to do with older books? You know, we talked about the pages are different than the current the modern
Yes,
comic.
yes, yes. Well, now that you bring up the fact that pages are different, I'm going to share this with you guys. Okay, in the paper business, there is a format or a formula which they consider called H1 to H10, with H10 being the worst. H1, okay, now this is a grade of paper that they use that goes into books, magazines, novels, and that sort of thing, right? H1 would basically be H1 is obviously the best, right?
Mhm.
And H1 would basically be Golden Age, Bronze Age, comic book type of paper, newspaper, old school novel paper. That would be considered H1 type of paper.
Okay.
Okay, and the higher the number of the grade, the less quality the paper is. Okay, right now comic books are being made out of H9, and that's why there are a lot of people complaining about why their comic books are wavy, or why the paper feels a different way.
Mm.
And aside from the fact that there's been like paper shortage for a little while, I also think that they've maybe the business has gotten a little cheaper to make a little more profit,
Mm.
but the paper grade is not as good as it used to be at all. you know
Mhm.
um yeah, these you know what the any book after 1995, I treat very, very different. I treat
Mm.
very, very different. Anything after 1995, kind of looks like it's digital.
Yeah.
It's not it's not hand to paper, if you will.
Yeah.
So the papers, you guys know that for yourselves. The paper's a lot glossier. The paper's a lot different. So that's more around the H8, H9 area, and that's a whole different beast.
Mhm.
If when I do decide to teach someone, or someone hits me up and they ask for like a little mentorship, those are these are one of the things that I share with them, is to study paper, no paper grade, that sort of thing, because it's really really important. Because that would be literally two different classes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Pressing books from day one to 1994 is one school, and then pressing books after 1994 is a whole completely different game.
So was that, I mean, I'm trying to go back in the time, and even in my own mind in the 90s, that's when, Image, they started doing a lot of that
Yes, yes,
glossy paper, and
yes, yes.
so that's around that time, because I was trying to remember when did they transition from the regular white pages, that the old school white pages that
Yes,
used to
yeah.
be prevalent. So
Yeah, exactly. Like the yellow pages, the white
yeah,
pages. That
white
type.
page.
That's H1, maybe H2. That's high quality paper. But yeah, I'm gonna say around 1994, 1995 was when that all happened.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it was about
Yeah,
the time
yeah,
Image was doing their own
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Just around that time, and I'm sure as a brand new company, you know what I mean. They tried to make every penny they can. So and they were successful. Kudos to them. I mean,
Yeah.
who's not down with Image Comics, man? Are you kidding me, man? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They did the impossible.
They
You know,
sure
they
did.
they they did the impossible. So shout out to them. You
Mhm.
know, definitely.
I wish they had had more foresight and not printing so many books. That's the only thing.
That was the only thing, they printed so much that there's so much quantity that the value's not there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? For the most part, there's value. There's definitely value, but but with the amount of quantity, they're not that hard to find.
Right.
They're,
Right.
the Image Comics will never be a rarity.
No.
Well, you know what? Maybe today. But when Todd and Rob Layfield and Mark Silvestri and
Jim Lee.
yeah, Jim, when all these cats first started, man, they changed the game. And I mean, it was they printed galore. They went nuts. And so there's a whole lot of quantity with those Image Comics. But
That's
today
cool.
now, but today now they do now they do limited. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Now with
Yeah.
Image Comics, now things are much much hard to find. So
Yeah. I mean, even I would say even that run with The Walking Dead with number one, I think they
that, yeah.
printed. That's a hard book to find, and it's
It
really
is.
expensive.
It is. It really, really is. And that's obviously it was a great series, and it's Kirkpatrick. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Kirkpatrick also did Invincible. He's also the
Mm.
creator of Invincible. So Image is load. If there's one thing Image has had talent since day one, and
Yeah.
I'm talking and I feel superior talent. So yeah, that's a publishing company that did it right, and they're doing big things.
Yeah. I have
Yeah.
three questions for you. They came in real hot and heavy. All
Let's
right.
do it. Let's do
So
it.
the first one is, have you ever had an artist or celeb ask you to press their books?
Okay. The answer is no. It's very, very, very rare that an artist, a writer, a creator, or a celebrity actually collects comic books. Okay. I had the utmost fortune, as I shared with you, I think last night. I had the utmost fortune at the Florida SuperCon in Miami Beach a couple of weeks ago
Mhm.
to spend over an hour with Chris Claremont, of the X-Men. And he had no interest. When I brought him the books that I wanted him to sign, he was completely wowed by what I brought him. You know what I mean? They weren't the traditional books that he usually signs and that
Mm.
sort of thing. And he was really, really flabbergasted with the books that I brought him. He literally took time to go through the books, and literally he literally must have read about 6 pages on one book. Literally, he told the line behind me to relax and chill, that this one's gonna take a minute. And so I have had the opportunity to hang out with them, based on them knowing that, based on knowing that I'm a presser, or I'm an exhibitor, if you will. So I've had that fortune, but no creator, no artist has ever asked me to. The closest biggest thing that I've come to is that I press for 3 local comic shops.
Okay. That's huge. That's a lot.
It is. It's cool. It's really, really cool. It
Yeah.
really, really is.
Well, I'm gonna
It
give a
really,
call
really
to
is.
Method Man because he's an avid comic book collector. So I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
him.
he is. You know what? The RZA's at Midtown Comics. The RZA was at Midtown Comics this morning.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks like he came up with a graphic novel, and he was doing some signings this morning. So, but we know through their verses, that they are big
Yeah.
time comic book guys. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, uh, so that's really, really, really cool. But
Well,
yeah, if I
out
had
of
the opportunity to hang out with Method
Method
Man, that would
Man,
be yeah,
yeah,
that's next level.
that'd be cool. As I don't know
Yeah, it
what.
would. Yeah, it would.
All right. Next question is, how do you feel about CGC at the moment?
Holy cow.
They trying to start something up in here. You
Long
and I
story
had this
sh-
conversation
long
yesterday.
story short, long story short, right
Mm,
now, right now they are complete. Listen, I can tell you this for a fact. I know Roger, I know Steven, I know Michael. Okay, I know a lot of the big dogs over there. Okay, they go to a lot of the shows. They know me. they knew me before I knew them because I was a competitive presser. Okay. And like I said earlier in my story, like I said earlier, with what I was sharing, you know what I mean? Everything with me started because of disappointment, and the disappointment was through CGC. You know what I mean? They are who they are. I don't think they are who they are. You know what I mean? I'm a bigger fan of CBCS. As I shared before, CBCS has much better options. Okay, with CBCS, you can send books to get graded without getting slabbed.
Mm.
Okay, and no one is aware of the average person doesn't even know this, but there are so many options with CBCS. Their customer service is better, and you know what, man? I don't want to promote one or diss the other. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
at the end of the day,
It's a preference.
it's a preference,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's an obligation with who to go with. You
Yep.
know what I mean? I'm a big fan of the golden labels. You know what I mean? I prefer signature series all day.
Hmm.
So with that in mind, and their in-house private signings, no one touches them. No one
Hmm.
touches them. You know what I mean? They get in-house private signings by the best, and they do it all day, every day. So no one can really touch that. So at the end of the day, I still go with CGC.
Hmm.
But what's going on right now is they're completely overwhelmed. They're
Yeah.
they're completely overwhelmed. They are understaffed. If you guys were paying attention about 2, 3, 4 months ago, they were hiring for about half a year.
Mm.
Okay. I mean, they they're overwhelmed. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? They're overwhelmed. Um,
But I think the industry changed and they weren't prepared
yeah,
for
you
it.
know what? That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Because it was on a downward
It was.
spiral,
It
and
was.
and it was just just sitting
Comic
out there.
yes, the comic books were, the comic book, when in a comparison to money, comic books were in a bear market for a while,
Hmm.
and when they went into the bull market, when this with this MCU explosion, that's when everything, books were getting signed, books were getting sent in a lot
Yeah.
more, from I mean even I mean the over and mostly, the overwhelming didn't come from people like me or you.
Right.
Me or you, we'll send a book, we'll send 2 books, maybe we'll send 3 books. You know what I mean? But most comic book shops are sending 60, 70, 80 books at a time. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And so if you think of how many comic book shops there are in this country and what they're sending to get slabbed so that they can make that extra dollar, I mean, you can just imagine how overwhelmed they are.
Yeah.
They really, really are overwhelmed, and you know what I mean? Hopefully they figure it out, and
Well, I think it's
oh,
interesting because they have that academy now. I've seen some
yeah,
influencers and people
yes,
signing up for that.
yes,
I don't know if
yes.
that's a solution. I think they need true professionals doing
They
this.
need, you know what? They need true professionals, they offered what you just mentioned, they offer grading school,
Hmm.
where you can grade, where you can grade books, and it would be considered a professional grade, that sort of thing. But you're absolutely right. You know what I mean? They need to bring professionals inside that building. You know what I mean? Whether they need to expand or whatever it is they need to figure out, but yeah, they have a lot to figure out, man. There's a lot of people who are incredibly disappointed, who are incredibly frustrated. I know people I know a fellow presser who is waiting for books almost 2 years now.
Wow.
And he's a presser himself. You know what I mean? He didn't need to send them to that extra, to that other department for an extra 2 weeks so that they can sit and wait to get pressed. None of that. So
I wish I had met you because I sent that first appearance of Carnage for them to clean and press, and then you said they don't, they just press, and I just needed them to fix the book, really.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they're not yeah, like I said, and it still happens today. You'll send the book, you'll send it to get pressed as well. And when you get the book back, the grader notes are gonna specify everything that was wrong with the book based on the grading system.
mhm.
And then the notes, and then as you read the notes, you're telling yourself, but wait a minute, this is what I paid the pressing for.
Exactly.
And so I just decided to take matters into my own hand. You know what I mean? I'm the people, so for the people, I'm a lot less expensive than they are. I also do a lot more than they do.
Mm,
I'm into conservation as well. I
mhm.
know how to, I have conservation techniques, staple removal, cover cleanses, things of that nature. So it's
That's
not
what's
a
up.
it's not a restoration, it's conservation,
Okay.
and yeah, I go way above and beyond. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I guess that's where I am right now. I guess
That's
that's why
cool.
where I am.
Well, it paid off because my man Soul, he had this last question here. He said, "Can you tell the story of the worst condition book you had to restore?"
The worst condition book that was ever sent back to me, I literally had to mail it back.
Mm,
I wasn't gonna steal that guy's money. The book wasn't worth fixing.
mm,
Okay, okay. So it was an X-Men annual. I'm gonna say it was like I don't remember. It was like a 1986, 87 X-Men annual, and it had basement water damage.
mm.
Okay, and this book was just
Beyond repair.
it was beyond repair. It was beyond repair. What I would have charged, and the truth is, with the work, I mean, first of all, I know I couldn't have fixed it, and if I played the game with him, I
Mm,
would have charged him 3 times what the book was worth. You
mm,
know what I mean? And that's one thing I'm going to share with you guys. Always take into consideration, the price that you have to pay for this cleaning, pressing, conservation, compared to what the book's worth.
mhm.
You know what I mean? If you buy a $25 book, you're not going to put $100 into fixing it. You know what I mean? It's my opinion that you're just better off buying the better book.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because you're going to end up saving money anyways. You know what I mean? If a book is 100 and you find one damaged for 25, then you send it to someone to get it fixed, they're going to charge you, it's going to cost you that $100 anyways. You know
Yep.
what I mean? With the shipping and everything that has to go on, it's going to come out to that price anyway. So, I'll be honest with you. I always tell people, you know what? Buy the better book.
Yeah.
Buy the best quality you can, and if you're just hunting for something that you gotta have, and it is what it is, there are people like me that can make that book a lot better.
Mm. Well, let me tell you. So I'm looking at the chat now because we were doing Q&A. I was looking at the chat, and lots of folks are really picking up what you're putting down. Marcus said he's soaking up knowledge. He said thank you. Soul said I met Ed out of frustration. I'm so glad I did.
Thank
Liam
you,
said
Soul.
definitely soaking in everything I'm learning. Very appreciated.
Thank you,
So
guys. Listen, we're just starting right now. Right now, we're just getting to know. Right now, you guys are just getting to know me. We haven't even gotten we haven't even gotten to the pressing yet. So, I promise you, I'm going to drop some jewels. And so you know what? You might want to bring out a piece of paper and a pencil, because if you decide to try, which I do recommend, man, go for it. If you feel like you want to try to clean and press a book, go for it. Go for it. Now here's the thing. Don't press that hundred. Don't start with that $100 book. Okay,
right.
go to the local shop. You know what I mean. Find $5 worth of 50-cent book. Go to that 50-cent bin. Go to that dollar bin. Get yourself $5 worth of books. Bring them home. When you go through that bin, try to find the worst books you can, because the goal is to learn how to fix them.
Mhm.
So you know what, man. Go to your local shop. If they have a 50-cent bin, if they have a dollar bin, you know what I mean. Buy yourself $5, $10 worth of those books. You know what I mean, and practice on them. You know what I mean. It's not impossible. It's really really not impossible. And so if you know what, if you feel like you want to try, man, go for it. By
Do it.
all means, do it. Just don't start on your investment books.
Mhm. So there's a lot of people, the South Floridians that are currently live down there. Temples is one of them. He might be popping you up and saying to you, "Hey, I need some mentorship to learn," because he's a studious dude. I know he's a hard worker too. So
Let's do it,
definitely
brother.
looking
Let's
forward to
do
it.
it. Hit
All
me
right,
up.
so let's talk. Let's get into what you were gonna do as far as the pressing piece, and
Let's
also
do
I
it.
think you were gonna unboxing, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so what I have for you guys today is I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of the end of completing a pressed book. Okay, I have a book that's sitting in my overnight press that's going through its cool press. The book has been ready for about 2.5 hours now, but I did leave it in the oven. I left it in the oven so that I can do it with you guys. At the same time, I did get a couple of packages from CGC yesterday, and I decided to leave one package unopened so I can unbox it with you guys so that we can see the grade live. So
Mm.
hopefully I don't put my foot in my mouth and get a completely low grade on this one. You know what I mean? But we are going to find out the grade. We're going to find out the grade on the book that I cleaned and pressed myself, and we're going to find out the grade together. So
Wow, how
you
cool is
know,
that, y'all?
so
Mad props, emojis
I,
all
I
over.
might win one, I might lose one. We'll see. But at the end of the day, man, at the end of the day, it's all about transparency. It's all about
Mhm.
keeping it real. It's all about communication and really letting people what I can do and what I can't do. If I can't, I can't, and I won't. You know what I mean? These books are special to me. I'm sure they're special to you, and
Yep.
so that's how it is. That's the reality. You know. So
Soul's nervous right now. He's like this. He put emojis up there. All right, so let's get to it.
let's do it. Let's do it. So I'm gonna hold on 1 second. Let me take care of a couple of things because I am on a laptop, and what
Okay.
I am literally gonna do, I'm gonna unplug my earphones real quick.
Say something right now.
Can you still hear me?
Yep, we can still hear you. Yep.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so since it's a laptop, I'm gonna have my son hold it as if it's a camera. So you guys
Mhm.
sit tight real quick. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna show you guys. Okay,
Wow. That
you were just talking about this
I
with
was
Rob
just
a
talking
minute
about that.
ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
Rob, you see
this one
that?
is signed by Jay Lee at MegaCon 2 years ago.
Wow. Rob, isn't that
Okay,
cool, man?
pretty
We were
dope.
just talking about that.
Okay. On the other side here, I have this one signed by Joe Rubenstein, and I
Yep.
have this signed by Chris Claremont,
Wow. That's
which
so
is
crazy.
pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, man, I wanted to give this a big. I wanted to give this a second since we brought it up earlier.
Yeah, that's hot.
Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is okay. So this is my press machine, guys. Okay, like I said before, I owned a professional machine. I don't anymore. Now I own two t-shirt press machines. Right. If I recommend anything, you're gonna want a 15 by 15. Okay,
Mhm.
name brand does not matter. Okay, these are t-shirt press machines, so you're just buying a t-shirt press machine.
Mhm.
So no name brand is not there's no name brand that's one better or the other. However, I do recommend that you get yourself a 15 by 15. Okay, that's the key. Get yourself something big enough, roomy enough to where the book is comfortable, where you don't feel like the book is getting crunched instead of pressed, and at the same time, when your skill level comes up with the 15 by 15, you can press two books at a time.
Mm.
So you know what I mean? That's really, really cool. So come on over a lot closer, Danny, if you will, please. Okay, so this is my machine. Okay, I have a German machine here. Okay, which I bought off of Amazon, and it's a basic. It's a basic. I don't know, 175, $180 it cost me. And so what I have in here right now is Venom Lethal Protector number one. Okay, this was a submission by a local comic shop, along with a couple of other books. But for demonstration purposes for this event, this is the book that I chose to work and for you guys to see get done. All right, so gloves. Okay, gloves. Okay, the first tool in your toolbox needs to be gloves, guys. Okay, so get some gloves on real quick.
He's a surgeon, guys. He's about to do some surgery.
Okay. Open it up. Okay. Now, the first thing you're gonna see is not only is there a press, metal plates. Okay, jewel number one, aluminum plates. Okay, nothing holds heat and nothing spreads heat in a metal more or better than aluminum. Okay, you're gonna want yourself aluminum sheets. My machine is 15 by 15, so my plates are 14 and a half by 14 and a half. Basic common sense. Okay, we remove the paper, we remove the board. Okay, we remove the parchment paper. Okay, unfortunately, I ran out of my Teflon parchment paper. I prefer to use the brown parchment over the white parchment so that we can avoid the bleach and avoid, bleach contaminating the books. But at this time I ran out of them, so I went with my parchment, with my basic white cookie sheet paper, parchment paper. Okay, now you always want to use a cardboard to hold it back, to give it strength and protection. Okay. And for the most part, this is Venom Lethal Protector number one, absolutely completed. Okay. There was damage around the number one, there was damage along the spine, and there was a big scratch along here. If you follow me on Instagram, you will be able to see the before pictures. There's no after pictures because we're looking at the after right now live. So later on, I'll take the photos all that, and I'll add them to the IG. But if you want to see the before pictures, go to my Instagram and you'll see them immediately. Okay, so this book is done, right? So I'll put this book here, and if you will come a little closer, please. Okay, and we always put copy paper inside that first sheet. I always put white copy paper in sheet number 3. Okay. And I do the same thing on the other side. Okay. I put more sheets than average. And again, this is a book this book was published in 1995. So this fits into the after 1994. Okay. So this is a whole different game with these books. Okay. And that's why I used a lot more copy paper, because with this digital paper, there's a good chance that the heat will stick these papers a lot, a lot quicker. So, so again, I removed the cardboard from the centerfold, and just like that, this book is, just like that, this book is completely pressed. Okay. From here, I'm going to clean it again with my, with the chemicals and the putties that I do use, which is a basic Absarine. I don't even mind sharing, that. You're going to look for an Absarine putty. Okay. I'm not going to say it again. Okay. Now from this press machine, I will take it to my desk and then I will clean it again. You know what I mean? So that this way they can get the final product completely polished and ready to go. Okay. Now, when I press books for 15 minutes and I press books at 150 degrees. Okay. Write that down. I'm not going to say that again. Okay. Now, so
you did tell him. You told him to write, to get a pencil.
I told him to get a pen and a pencil. I did tell him that. So it's all good. If anything, hit me up. I don't mind. I don't mind talking. I don't mind sharing. You know what I mean? But I prefer to do it one-on-one. Look for me, we'll talk. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely down for that. So in a nutshell, you just seen what the end completion of a pressing process. You know, so for the most part, that's what it is. I
Mm-hmm.
pressed it for that certain amount of time. I pressed it at that certain temperature, and like I said earlier, I pressed it overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So the book went for the 15 minutes, and then stayed in the oven, and then stayed there overnight and cooled off. Cooling off is very important. Okay, once you press a book and it's in that heat, do not remove that book. Let it cool off. Okay, absolutely. That cooling off, believe it or not, it's the cooling off that's going to remove the scratches, the dents, and all of that stuff. It's not the heat. The heat gives it a temperature to where you can work with it. It's the cooling process that levels everything up back to its original state. So the cool down process is incredibly important. Okay, remember that. Okay. At the same time, when I get the chance, I also use my mini press. Okay, when I deal with spines, when I deal with edgy corners and that sort of thing, a mini press. You definitely want to get yourself a mini press as well. Okay, this always comes in handy. For the there's a lot of times where not every book really needs that pressing. A lot of times there's a good book that just needs a good clean, and you just give it a nice little tight press. And a lot of times you can go with this machine right here. Okay. Another secret I'm going to share with you guys real quick is the humidity chamber. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A humidity chamber is something you can make at home, real quick. That is my humidity chamber. Okay. As simple as that. You can makeshift, like like all pressers do. We make our own humidity chambers, and the humidity chamber is going to play an incredibly big role when your books are really damaged. If you have a cover that looks like it's been completely crunched, the secret is humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Humidity. Humidify it. You know what I mean? Humidify it, give it a couple hours, press machine. It's that simple. Now, something that's really important, when you use when you're humidifying books and when you're pressing books, you need to use water. Okay. A secret no one shares is water is very involved in the process. Okay. What a lot of people don't know or don't do is that they need to be using distilled water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It has to be distilled water because distilled water is basically dead water. It doesn't have any minerals. So it will not put any color. It will not change the color. It will not put additives onto the book. Okay. A lot of times people press books, and when they open that press machine, there's more foreign substance than when it started. And it has to do with the fact that they either used faucet water or spring water or whatever water they weren't supposed to use. So another jewel I'm going to drop with you guys is distilled water is the key water. Okay, distilled water is the water you want to use. Okay, you're going to use distilled water in your humidity chambers. You're going to use distilled water uh, throughout your pressing process, and that sort of thing. Now, using that water is an incredible technique. I would not recommend using that water day one at all. At
Mm-hmm.
all. Okay. The water is going to be absolute baby steps. Okay. But, if you want to talk about it, hit me up. You know what? There's a time and a place for that. And I'll be more than glad to break that down with you. But, we only have a certain amount of time. So, based on that, I'm going to share, I'll share with you the ingredient, but you got to hit me up to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's simple. It's all good. I'm very down for it. I'm very down to share everything. You know, um,
So two things real quick,
yes,
because they're coming in fast and furious. Everybody's
let's do
excited
it. Let's
about
do
this.
it.
So Soul said, "Can you leave a book on the press too long?" And then there was also a question about your IG, what your IG is. You can actually find his IG actually in the booth area if you want to just check it out as well. So just, but if you wanted to tell people what your IG tag.
Yes, 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 guys. So you're
handle.
on IG, you're gonna find me at Old Head Ed Pressing Services. Okay, Old Head Ed Pressing Services. Let me here.
Look at that. My man is pressing. He is cleaning. He is providing tutorials, and he's typing with the gloves on.
With gloves on. All right, let me see. Did we get that right?
Yep.
Okay, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's that, type that in and you're gonna find me instantly. You're gonna find the before of that Venom #1 Lethal Protector, and you're gonna find, I don't know, probably about another 60 other books that have been already completed. Um, so yeah, Joe, any questions?
No questions. I'm looking forward to the unveiling of the CGC. That was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good,
Okay,
man.
you know what? Let's get right to it because you know what? Our time is here. Okay, so I received well, actually,
Everybody, I'm nervous. Okay.
I received about 6 slabs over the last couple of days. Okay.
Liam
And
said he prefers to call you Uncle Ed at this point.
wait, well, I'll tell you what, nephew. Hit me up. Let's do this. Okay? I'm down. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for giving me your time. Real talk. I appreciate all of you. So let me get my notebook real quick because I am OCD when I take grader notes.
Sure.
Another thing I'm going to include is that when you send me books, I also send you a copy sheet of. I've created a sheet with information, with what I check, what I think's wrong with it, and basically what I do is I check boxes. Okay, this is what's wrong with it. This is what's wrong with it. This is what's wrong with it. And I've created something that has. I created a sheet that literally has 80 lines for me to check based on based on what's wrong or what's not wrong with the book. So when you send me books, you're also going to receive a form of grader note as well, so that you can know. The first thing I do is a complete observation and inspection. I go to my forms and my sheets, I fill it out with everything that's wrong. I make one for me, I make one for you, and you end up with one in the mail and one stays in my record book. So you also get one of those as well, which I think is really, really important, so that you can so eventually you'll know what I found that was wrong with the book, and so that you can also see where the corrections were done as well. Okay, so don't follow me. Stay over there. Okay, so let me pull out my Transformers all day. Hold on one second. Let me pull out my notes real
That's
quick.
okay. I'm going to play some. Since you said Transformers, I have a voiceover for you. You ready?
Do it.
At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall.
Yeah, baby. All day. Love it. Love it. Okay. Okay, so I know for a fact what's in that book is Batman 492. That's the only thing that I know for a fact. Okay, that book should be Batman 492, and according to my notes, I'm expecting a 7.5 at best. Okay, that's how damaged this book was. Okay, I'm expecting nothing but a 7.5. Okay, Oof, hopefully I don't put my foot in my mouth. Let's go.
Everybody, cross your fingers. Give him love. Give him some emoji love, y'all. You gotta be here for Uncle. This is nerve-wracking. Let me give you some more Optimus Prime real quick.
At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall.
I'm gonna give you some music while we at it. Here we go.
All right, guys. There. Okay. And so, okay, I am bringing it out, and I'm going to put it right here. Let's see. All right, guys. Like I said, I am expecting no better than a 7.5. I'm really, really not. I found this was This is one of the most popular books, but I found it damaged. But I found it damaged on purpose so that I can win. So let's see what happened. Okay. Yes, we win, guys. 8-5.
Nice.
8-5, baby. Okay.
Congratulations.
Very, very, very cool. Very, very cool. Let me pull this out for you. Oh, that's awesome.
Is
It's
that
awesome
Soul?
that I didn't.
Whose book is that? Soul's book? I'm just playing.
8-5 Batman. It was just signed by Marv Wolfman.
Wow.
And yeah, look at that. So according to my notes, I was expecting no better than a 7-5, and we just ended up with an 8-5. That's a
Wow.
complete point better than I was expecting. And as you guys know, points are dollars. So I was thinking this book now based on the fact that it's not a 7-5 and it is an 8-5, that just added about anything between $40 to $60 more than what I was thinking. So that's a huge yes, huge win. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. Huge win. 8-5. And the most important thing is that I looked good. I was expecting a 7-5, and we just got an 8-5, and that's really big. So
That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
we just opened one live together, and I was concerned. You know, I looked at my notes and it was a 7-7-5, and I was thinking, oh, if it's a 6, I'm beat. You know, so it came out an 8-5, we win. You know what I mean? And and I'm so confident in myself. I was just willing to do it live with you guys. You know what? I mean, even if I didn't get the grade I wanted to, the fact is that I'm not a grader. You know what I mean? So maybe if it did come in as a 7 or a 7-5, it probably was still a win because I'm not a professional grader. What I do know is that when I found this book was probably a 3-5 or a 4.
Wow.
Okay. So that's absolutely great stuff. So I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy I was able to open. Thank you. I'm really glad I was able to open this with you guys, share this with you guys live, and we officially have an experience together.
That's
And
so cool.
yeah, man. With that being said, you know where to find me, and let's talk.
Cool.
Let's definitely talk. You know, there's so much more we can share. I can't even believe the hour's already up. You know what I mean? I feel like I've only shared like maybe 15-20% of what I know. You know,
Well,
so
maybe, I think as part of the I think when we do our Comic-Con, the Gen X Comic-Con in Puerto Rico, we need
I'm
to
going.
we'll do a certification, and you charge us whatever you need to get us through and get a certification on how to press appropriately and make it
Oh,
happen.
absolutely.
That'd be
I'm
awesome.
definitely down with that. I'm
Es-
definitely down with that. You know,
Especially since you're right. Yesterday we talked about even having signatures and how careful you got to be, and most people won't touch a book.
yes. That's a whole different game. You know, if you look at my Instagram, you see that I actually press autographed books. Okay. 9 out of 10 pressers will completely avoid that. They do not know how to go with that accordingly. But you know what, man? It's just more practice until it becomes a skill set. Guys, give me 1 second. Somebody's at my door.
Okay. All right. In the meantime,
All right, guys. So I'm back. Okay, so I'm sorry. Where were we? I just lost.
there's a question about, can you fix a color break bend on the corner?
Can I what?
Can you fix a color break bend on the corner?
Okay, so yes. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I can definitely fix that. That bent corner is a piece of cake. Okay, unfortunately, as I shared with Joe yesterday privately, color breaks are not fixable.
Mhm.
Okay, if there's one thing, you know, when you look, as I shared, before with other people, when you are if you're down for buying a book that's a little low grade because it's a book you must have, if there's one thing you want to avoid is color breaks. I don't care if the corners are damaged, I don't care if the spines are damaged, I don't care if the staples are rusty, I don't care if the centerfold paper is falling out. we'll fix that.
Mhm.
What we can never fix is the color loss. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Pull out magic markers and fix that? You already know how CGC is gonna feel about that.
Yep. Oh, I think.
So to answer that question, I'll get that corner looking brand new.
Mm,
Okay, the loss of the color that can never be fixed.
okay.
It really, really can't.
You heard it. You heard it here, y'all. You heard it here first. Not only is he going to join us in Puerto Rico in a couple of years when we have this mega Gen X con, but he's also going to do a tutorial. So he'll teach us
Yes.
and get a small group of cohort people. We get first dibs because we heard it first.
Yes, you
You
do.
under
Yes, you
your
do.
tutelage.
Yes, you do.
And we'll make sure that you're taken care of for
You know.
sure.
Yes, and you know what? You know what? I'm also gonna do this. If you are on this live, or you watch the replay, okay? I want you to take a screenshot or however you can, show me some form of proof that you were here, and I will do your first book for free.
Wow. Wow.
Okay? I will do your first book for free if you can prove to me you were here today, or if you can prove to me that you watched the replay.
Wow.
Okay? That's my gift to you guys for allowing me to have a platform, to have an audience. Okay? Because that's what this is about. Without you guys, there's nothing for me to do.
Wow.
So as a thank you to Joe, as a thank you to Gen X, and as a thank you for this platform, your first book is free if you can prove that you were part of this Gen X convention.
Thank you, sir. Edgar,
You're very welcome.
uh, we talked about this, it's all about relationships, and
Yes.
we're going to
Yes.
be long standing. Everybody that came today, I hope you all not only took notes, but that you reach out to these people. Please give them mad praise and thanks, because they took some time to really get here
Absolutely.
on that,
Absolutely.
and I appreciate it.
Definitely. This is for Soul Siren. Soul Siren, you're the one who connected me with Joseph. You're the one who introduced us. So, with the submissions that just came in house, as you know, I've received them. I have them right there. Your package starts tomorrow morning. For this introduction, for giving me this platform, your first book is free as well, guaranteed.
Wow.
Okay, so you know how many you sent me. Okay, we can subtract one of them. One of them is on me for allowing me to have this platform. Okay, my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you for allowing me. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for introducing me to Joseph, to this platform. It means everything. It means everything. You know what I mean? We are a comic book community, and by community, it means we live together. We need to feed off each other. We need to build together, and so that's how I want to give back to you guys. Yeah, man, with that being said, man,
That's
it was an
awesome.
honor to be here. It was an honor to have this time. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for allowing me into your life for an hour.
Mm.
I really, really, really do appreciate that. And if you want to get to know me, you know where to find me. And with trust, love, care, and respect, once I get your books, those babies are going to come back home, waiting for their mama, waiting for their papa, and they are not going to look like how you sent them to me. So, you know what I
You
mean?
heard it, y'all. Yep.
Yeah, man. With that being said, man, I am looking forward to communicating with you guys. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, check out my IG. Hit me up. No question is a dumb question. We're in this to win. We're in this to learn. So yeah, man. hit me up, hit up all the other talent that's been involved, and thank you, Soul. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. It means everything to me. It means everything to me. Word of mouth is everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Word of mouth is everything. You know what I mean? There's no better recommendation or recognition than someone you've been involved with already saying that you are that guy. So that means everything to me. I deeply appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. And so yeah, man, hit me
Cool.
up and let's start a relationship.
All right. So listen, we said it here from the beginning. This community is about family, and sometimes our friends are our family. So I'm looking forward to this continued quarterly engagement. I know that it's going to build itself up, and everyone's going to be in it to win it, and we're going to do it together. So this is what it's about. So Edgar, thank you so
Absolutely.
much. I also wanted to say we're gonna pivot back because I know my man Def Shogun. I don't know if he was working on anything or he was probably working on at the same time. He was multitasking. That brother is fire. Did you see his work?
Wow.
His
Wow.
work is fire.
I
And the fact
mean,
that he thinks he's like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm like, bruh,
and
you are.
yeah, where are you supposed? I mean,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy's taking 2, 3 different characters. He's fusing them. You know what I mean? He's getting them from different universes. He's getting
yeah,
them from different publishing companies, and
yep,
he's fusing them into one character. That's so
yep,
dope. That is
yep.
so dope. And believe it or not, that takes a lot of talent.
It sure does.
Because you need to, because aside the fact that you already have these images and these figures in your head,
Yep,
you also need to come up with the final design of what it's going to look like.
yep.
So this fusion stuff is out of hand. Rob, is that
It
that's crazy. That's great. That's
it's
awesome.
absolutely insane.
You know,
Yep.
it really is. How detailed Rob and Jimbo are is nuts. Is nuts. Detail is everything. Detail is everything. And man, the future's bright for them. The future's really, really bright. They
I
those guys are worth your investment.
They
No
are worth
doubt.
the investment.
They
That's
are.
why I
They
brought
really
them.
are.
For folks that are watching this now or future, or even people that aren't here, I feel bad for the folks that didn't show up today, to be
I
honest with you.
agree. They missed something good.
They did. And
They
I want
really
to thank
did.
everybody who was here from beginning to end, and for the folks who were here in and out, people investing. Let me tell you something. I learned a lot today, and I wasn't sure how this was going to roll out, and I'm so thankful and blessed. I know we had some glitches with like the technical stuff, but I think everything panned out perfectly, and I'm
Yes.
just thankful. I want to show you something that I actually bought this from Def Shogun a year ago. This is actually my mat for my computer,
Okay.
and this is the fused Doctor Strange, Venom, and Moon Knight.
Holy cow, man.
So this is
Look
what
at
I work
oh
on
my
every day. I work off of that every day. And I was so happy that he graciously said yes. He could have been. I didn't know. I knew what type of guy he was because I follow him on TikTok. I know he's eating right now, so I'm trying to buy some time. But it is sick. So on my end, I also told him to invest in him and also invest in his time as well. I just wanted to give back. So I will be purchasing some mats and giving those away as well. So I don't
That
know
is
how
so
much,
cool. That
I don't
is, you
know.
know what? That's really, really cool of you. That is, I mean, you know
Yeah,
what? Everybody wins, man. The
everybody wins.
creator wins, the fan base wins, you
Yep.
win. You know,
And
that's
I told
special
people
and
from the
that's
beginning.
important.
Yeah, I told people from
Um,
the beginning this wasn't about money. I was charging just to at least meet halfway. Um, it's all good. At the end of the day, my hope and dream is that you all will trust me with bringing you education, bringing you fire, bringing you people that you can trust and that you can really engage in real conversation and actually have
Yes,
relationships with.
yes,
So that's always been my goal. My shows every Sunday. I have a blast with my peoples. This is probably the first time they've actually seen me physically. I mean, outside of having to flip the camera, but we spend time together, a lot of time together. And I'm throwing up slabs because I have them. And they are dear to me, and people, you know, donated. Marcus Montez, he donated a slab and some signed stuff. You know, people
Shout out to
sponsored.
them. Shout out to
Shout out to
them.
them. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
like,
man.
you know, we're gonna drop money just to support you, and I
You know
appreciate
what,
that.
man? I mean, when somebody does that, man, they are about the culture.
Yeah,
You know, they are absolutely about the culture. So shout out to you guys, man, because you know what? That was your money, that was your time, and you know what? The fact that you did this for something bigger than yourselves, kudos to you guys, man, because you know what? The universe is gonna repay you, and you know how that works. The universe will repay you. So you know what I mean? You sit tight and you let the universe do its thing. You guys are gonna
yeah.
get you guys are gonna get you guys are gonna get your blessings back in return. No doubt
Well,
about it.
speaking of that, I'm gonna give out this. I call it the Marcus Montez. Look at this book. That's a
Nice.
TMNT
Oh
124 by IDW, 9.8
wow.
virgin cover. It's a
Look at
Gotham
that
City
city
limit,
backdrop. Holy
right?
cow.
Isn't that
Yeah,
cool?
yeah,
And
very,
so anyway,
very.
brother
Beautiful
Marcus,
thing.
I told you I would give this out as a gift. I told you all of the gifts that you sent me, I was gonna make sure that we culminated in this moment. So I just wanted to give you props. I want to give everybody props who follows me. You didn't know me from Adam. We about to give this away to somebody awesome that's registered, that's been a part of this whole experience. And so I just want to give praise to you all and thanks. So here we go.
Good luck, guys. Good. I'm staying out of this one. This is all you guys. Good luck.
Oh my gosh, Kingsley Simons, you got this slab of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 124. Congratulations. That is awesome.
Joe, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for reaching out. You know, it means everything. And dude, friend, the friendship began. You know, the friendship has started. You know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to a long, healthy, awesome relationship. And let's do our thing. Let's definitely do our thing, man. But thank you, man. Shout out to you because you're the one who made this happen. You know what I mean? This went from an idea to a reality.
Yeah.
Okay. So shout out to you. Okay. You made a thought come true. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you.
So kudos, recognition to you, man. Appreciate you. And thank you for allowing me a platform.
Thank you, brother.